I think it's still recording. Yeah. So either way, I don't know. It's telling me something. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Hold on. How about this? Do it's weird how it wants me to do vertical, but it said I could choose this setting, so hopefully it does come out horizontal, and if not, then SOL, I guess, because that's pretty much the only way you're gonna get a video out of me this week because it's been too busy and yeah, it's just too much work to do all that stuff separately. Plus, there wasn't really anything good that I wanted to talk about earlier in the week. Anyways, when it came to USC or Duke football, so we'll start off with those USC Trojans. Yes, they ended up losing to Washington up there on the road, 26-21. I believe the final score was. I think once again they had the lead in the fourth quarter. They were leading at least 21-20, and then pretty much early in that fourth quarter they gave up like a pretty quick touchdown, and then Washington went for two. They did not get it, so I guess that was the one positive. But USC did have two chances. I believe their next drive they're able to go all the way down, running the ball, doing some good stuff, and then they end up not getting in because I think they got stopped on like fourth down at the goal line. They ended up losing yards, so most likely a bad offensive line play and all that stuff, getting a tackle for a loss on their good running back. So, yeah, in hindsight, you wish they would have just kicked the field goal because they were able to get the ball back on defense. And now they went back on offense again for the second time in the fourth quarter. And I don't know how far they got. I'm pretty sure they ended up trying to do a Hail Mary or something like that. There was an interception or a sack to end the game. I don't know exactly how close they were, if they were close for another field goal, but if that was the case, then they would have only needed those two field goals to get the victory. But like I said, I had the video uploaded into my favorites to watch, and I still have not watched it. I don't know if I am going to. I kind of give myself like that whole week to watch it, especially if it's a loss right before the next game, which actually isn't even this weekend. It's next week against Nebraska. So I basically can give myself that much time to loath about it and actually finally do the homework in a little bit. But yeah, I guess at some point I'll go back and check it out. But yeah, tough loss. And I guess the only positive thing that came out of this, as a couple days later, I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, Lincoln Riley, the head coach, did name the backup quarterback, Jaden Maiyava, as a starter for the next game against Nebraska. So, like I said, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So, yeah, we'll see how he does. Obviously, wearing number 14, so I have a lot of faith in him because that's my favorite number. So, we'll see how good he ends up doing. But either way, we'll see because there's probably a reason why he has not been starting in the first place, even though Miller Moss has kind of had an up and down season up to this point. But there were some rumblings in the locker room from the players kind of wondering what they're still doing and all this stuff, and is the correct direction that they're heading towards, if they still kept it the same way. So I guess Riley thought of that as maybe he should change at least something, because they've done some changes here and there, but nothing as drastic as the quarterback change. But we'll see. He's very athletic, 6'4". He kind of has that build of a Sam Darnold. He's a little bit faster than Sam Darnold, so you like that. But Sam Darnold just had a stronger arm and better touch and all that stuff, and kind of willing to have that gunslinging mentality to try to make any type of play like a Brett Favre. But we'll see how Maiyava does. He did pretty good in his freshman year as a redshirt freshman, so he was technically a sophomore, but did pretty good last year starting for UNLV. Yeah, against a little bit lower competition, and he gets Nebraska, who's an okay team. They're not great; they're kind of struggling as well. And then also he gets, if he still keeps the starting job, UCLA and Notre Dame to end the season. So USC needs at least, I think, 2 more wins to be bowl eligible. It's kind of funny how Duke football is really bowl eligible compared to USC football, but yeah, they need at least 2 wins, and a lot of people are already saying that it's kind of hard for them to get that on either side of those games coming up, but we'll see. Hoping for the best, I guess. And yeah, speaking of Duke football, yeah, they ended up losing quite a bit. I had that score here as well. 31-53. I think at some point when I turned this game on, they were winning. And then they lost the lead real quick. Then they got back to the lead, but then they kind of really never scored again. And then all of a sudden it was a blowout. It was like a low scoring basketball game between these two ACC teams, that final score. But I mean, they did their best against, who are they? Miami is number 4, number 5 team in the nation. And they had them on the ropes a little bit in that third quarter, but yeah, not able to finish it. Like I said, they're still bowl eligible, so they can still build on that 6 wins that they already have. But we'll see what type of bowl game they ended up going in. I know if USC and them kind of end up winning out, they could almost end up playing each other in a bowl game, which will be pretty awesome in my opinion. Hopefully that would be somewhat close. If it's in California, I might have to force myself to go, but if it's somewhere else, then I'll just be glued to my television, of course. But yeah, either way, yeah, tough loss right there, but they got some pretty good games coming up for them as well. So hopefully they can get back in their winning ways. And I'll try to read off here as it got put into my other phone. So hopefully it's not as like too crazy over here and there, the subject matter and stuff, but I'll try to get out of here with this live video around 10 minutes or so. So yes, the Big Ten Player of the Week this last week for USC women's volleyball was Allie Battenhorst, number 14 as well. So yeah, congrats to her. And then the Big Ten Setter of the Week was Mia Tuaniga, who's from USC also. So yes, congrats to those ladies on being some of the top players in one of the better conferences when it comes to the women's volleyball side as well. They do have like a lot of ranked teams too, especially in the top 20. So yeah, congrats to them. And hopefully they get some more momentum down here going into the playoffs or the NCAA tournament, as they call it. And let me see. Yeah, there's baseball, not baseball. There's soccer. I'll go into the women's soccer. So, yes, there was a lot of accolades for the women in the Big Ten, obviously, because they were the number 1 team and they won the Big Ten as well. They did have an All-American first-team player in Faith George. They had an All-American freshman team player in Inez Darian. Had an All-Big Ten third team in Simone Jackson. All-Big Ten third team in Kayla Colbert. All-Big Ten second team in Maria Alagda. All-Big Ten first team in Maylee Hayes. All-Big Ten first team in Brooklyn Courtnall. They also had the Big Ten Coach of the Year in Jane Alukonis. And they also had the Big Ten Goalkeeper of the Year. And she was also all Big Ten first team. And Laurence Gladue, hopefully I'm saying that correct. They also had the Big Ten Midfielder of the Year. And she was also an all Big Ten first teamer in Helena Sampaio. We've talked about her a couple of times here and there during the season. And honestly, I think right before that, both Laurence Gladue was the Big Ten Keeper of the Week and Maylee Hayes was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week heading into their game. And I want to say there was a game. Yeah, they did play against Ohio State was the next person or team that advanced in the playoffs to face them, the number 1 seed in the Big Ten. No, it's not. Yeah, is it Big Ten tournament? Yeah, they were the regular season Big Ten championships. Now it's a Big Ten tournament. And yes, they face Ohio State, who they had recently played and beat, and now they recently beat them once again 1-0. So yeah, it was nice to see. I did not see who they get to play next in the seeding, but hopefully it is a good matchup and they're able to advance as well. But either way, I still think they're going to make the NCAA tournament after this Big Ten tournament. So you could count on that. Any more of the USC stuff on the side? Yeah, the women's golf team. Yeah, they're always good. I think it said they had a champion. They were the East Lake Cup champs. USC wins its 4th East Lake Cup title and first since 2018. Yeah, they finished the fall with 3 wins. So, yeah, congrats to them. They're always doing some good stuff. So, yeah, congrats to them. The men's side is pretty good, too. And then even on the women's side, Jasmine Koo, she is now a three straight individual. She now has three straight individual titles and is the first USC golfer to do that since Annie Park in 2012 and 2013. She recently won the East Lake Cup championship herself. So I guess in the individual matchups, not the team, she was a champion there. So yeah, congrats to her. So like I said, women on the women's golf side for USC are balling. And then there was a guy who I was sort of interested in as a quarterback that Lincoln Riley could look at in the future. I think he's in the 2026 class. He's actually the son of ex-USC great Matt Leinart. His name is Cole Leinart, and he was at Modern Day playing on the freshman team. Then he ended up transferring somewhere else because I guess he got more playing time there. I think it's like Newport. I could be wrong, but he ended up committing to SMU the other day, which is only a little bit interesting just because you kind of wonder why he wasn't going to go to USC or pick USC right away. But I think even pretty recently, within the past month or so, Matt Leinart did say that he loves Lincoln Riley, but I think he did mention in that one interview I saw that maybe that offense or that type of offense isn't suitable for what his son could and can do. So he said they were obviously going to look at USC, but look around as well. And of course, he ended up choosing somewhere else. But either way, congrats to him. Congrats to that great family. And hopefully he can have some continued success at SMU or wherever he ended up choosing in 2026. Because like I said, it could be a little bit until then. And then the Anaheim Ducks, yeah, they only had a couple of wins this last couple of weeks. It's been tough for them. They did get a victory against I want to say it's the New York Islanders 3-1, and then they also beat the San Jose Sharks 3-1 as well. So yeah, they've been beating up on the Sharks quite a bit, but they went on a pretty bad road trip because they kind of lost almost all those games. I think it was that Islanders one that they only got, but yeah, either way, we'll see how they do. Hopefully, they can turn it around for the rest of the season. Trying to make sure so I don't mix these. Yeah, there was a player that is committed to USC in the 2025 class. He's a three-star running back or athlete. His name is Dwayne Morris. He's from Tennessee, and it looks like he's being projected by both Scott Schrader and Steve Wiltfong. Wiltfong is the main guy who does the recruiting at On3, and then Schrader is the guy who pretty much tells us all of the stuff about USC high school recruiting, and he even predicted this guy now to go to the home state school in Tennessee. So looks like USC is losing out on this guy. I know they already lost on that Viliami, something like that. He went to Oregon. So yeah, he was a 4-star guy in that class. This is the earlier class in 2025. They've already losing a guy, maybe officially. So we'll see what ends up happening towards the rest. Because I know like Castro and Tagoai, they've been saying some pretty good stuff still. So hopefully that's the case for a lot of those other recruits. And even one guy who was pretty upset. There's been a lot of ex-players that have been upset about the USC football losing. But Lendell White, he pretty much ripped Lincoln Riley after the loss, kind of saying like, use some of that money that you're stealing from USC to help out during recruiting because definitely need some different types of players involved in this, roster because they're losing out on guys who are getting paid by other schools at the last second. I think even the Viliami guy might be a part of that too because he did commit to USC quite a bit, but then all of a sudden here comes Oregon, one of the richest schools out there, and then he's committing to them. So I don't know, maybe he could do that, but at least he's making somewhat of a big change with Mayaba over Miller Moss right now. So I guess we could give him the benefit of the doubt because it's not like they're going to fire him. They're not going to come up with $60+ million just to let him go and then find another 30 to 40 for another coach somewhere else after that. So we'll see how it goes, this experiment. And then yeah, it looks like the NFL draft declaration rule is kind of changing. There's this thing called the championship deadline. So it looks like they moved their deadline to declare as January 6th as like a soft deadline. And then they changed another thing for Wednesday, January 15th as like the main like regular deadline to put your name into the draft. But then I guess guys who are going to be playing later in those championship games are getting to like February 7th or something like that. I think that's the date because now you're going to be playing more games. It's more of like that NCAA tournament type of thing. So usually it would be like early January. It would be the deadline because that's when like it's within the first week is a national championship game. But now it's going to be most likely way later, whether it's the end of January. It's not going to be beginning of February because that's obviously time for the Super Bowl. But yeah, definitely mid to late January now for the next couple of rounds. So we'll see how it goes. Could be interesting. But yeah, that was kind of a little bit of interesting news that did come up. And then the Duke softball team, yes, they did have one of those fall ball games and they did beat North Carolina State 7-2. So yeah, they've been pretty hot so far. So hopefully that will continue once regular season play starts. I know, and then they also did beat, was it Weber State or something State, W State. They beat them 17-0. So yeah, they dominated that game. And there were a couple of swimming and dive records. Her name is Ali Pafaf or Papaf. She did the record for 100-yard backstroke and 200-yard backstroke, which is pretty impressive. And then there was a school record and a pool record. So I don't know what's the difference of school and pool, but her name is Kaylin Gridley. She had the 100-yard breaststroke that she broke her old records and stuff. So yeah, congrats to both of those ladies. And the swim team for the Duke side has been pretty good, especially on the women's side. I know they've been getting invited to a lot of the under whatever USA swim stuff, those competitions. So hopefully be able to see some of those ladies in the Olympics at some point in the near future. And then there was a baseball player from high school. He's a right-handed pitcher. His name is Wes Peterson. I believe he committed to Duke within the past couple of weeks as well. So yeah, congrats to them. I think he's a 3-star guy out of the state of Texas. So yeah, we'll see how talented he ends up being. Then the Duke men's golf team did have a pretty nice weekend whenever this was. They claimed their first team title of the year. Ethan Evans captured his first collegiate win and 3 total Blue Devils logged top 10 finishes in that competition. So yeah, that was pretty cool for them, and maybe we'll see if they could be as good as the USC women's side. I know even the USC men's golf side isn't as good as the women's side, but they're coming up too. So we'll see how good these teams end up being. And I'm going to do the women's golf update. Excuse me, the women's soccer update. So yeah, I have a game here, but they did get a lot of ACC accolades. There was an ACC midfielder of the year, Maggie Graham, one of their best players, ACC defensive player of the year, and Cameron Roller, ACC goalkeeper of the year, excuse me, and Leah Freeman. And the all ACC honors, obviously, Cameron Roller was the first team, Ella Hayes or Haas is second team, Hannah Babar is second team. Maggie Graham is obviously first team. Mia Oliaro is second team. And Leah Freeman was obviously first team as well. And that seems to be pretty much for the women's side, other than they get a semifinals matchup with their hated rival, North Carolina, coming up soon. So hopefully they could get that victory as well. And then the men's soccer side, they did win in advance. I want to get some of this stuff right because it's kind of all over the place. So they are ranked number 2 according to United Soccer's coaches weekly ranking, which is awesome. But for some reason, they are the 3rd ranked team in the ACC tournament. But that seemed to not matter because they were able to beat Virginia Tech 2-0. So they advanced, which was nice to see. And I think even before that, they had to play against Notre Dame and won that 4-0. Yeah, sorry, a lot of this is out of order. They even beat a team in Longwood 4-1. So yeah, those were probably a couple of games to end the season. Even a game against Virginia Tech 1-0 as well. And another game against, I do not know that symbol, but they ended up winning that game 5-0 also. So yeah, nice bit of win streak. That's probably why they jumped up all the way to number 2 in the nation according to that poll rankings. And yes, they did win that first game in the ACC tournament for them. So yeah, congrats to them, and hopefully they can do some good stuff moving forward. Did that, did that, did that, did that. Can't do that yet. Did that, did that. Sorry, just going through some of these things to make sure I did talk about them and I don't have to worry about them. So yeah, that's pretty much a quick update on a bunch of stuff. Yes, sadly you can't see them come up and all that stuff, and I'm just rambling, looking down at my phone. But I don't know. It's kind of like, when you miss a day of school and then you realize, then you miss another day of school, and then once you go back you realize how much more homework you have to catch up on and do all this stuff. And then it's kind of like how I feel mentally at times when it comes to USC and Duke news that I want to get out. Sometimes I just don't want to talk about it, just because, just like this last weekend there was 2 losses, so nothing really much to talk about. There were some good stuff like Duke men's basketball, even the women's basketball side, USC men and women's basketball, a couple of victories there to start off the season. Even the Chargers won last week, but I wanted to save that for like more of a victory regular type of video that I'm going to most likely try to do tonight on Thursday night, or at some point Friday before everything starts and all that stuff. So yeah, bear with me trying to get some of this more miscellaneous and smaller, not as important. It's all important to me because obviously it's making me mentally freak out about it and want to still talk about it and get it out. And for some reason, I still save it on my phone. So I guess I'm going to end up talking about it. But yeah, I just want to get all that out there. And yeah, so much for my 10-minute live. It's already about to be 22 minutes. So, like I said, just want to make sure. Yeah, I pretty much did talk about everything. And yeah, sadly, this is a little bit of an eyesore now. It's my big old mummy poster that I had framed and stuff, but usually is in front of the fireplace. But it's been very windy out here in Southern California. Pretty crazy winds, even while I'm on my routes. I'm surprised my hair is still kind of looking normal, but yeah, it's been pretty crazy. And coming down the chimney where this thing used to be in front of behind the couch, it like makes noise because like a week ago, I thought somebody was trying to break in, but really it was just the sound of the wind hitting that thing. And then past couple of days too, my dog May has not been able to sleep a bit normally, especially at night when the wind is going that crazy and making that sound. So try to move it over here so it doesn't make any sounds, not only help her out but myself too, so I don't think somebody's trying to break in the middle of the night. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. I'm trying to put up some more shorts, so hopefully y'all have enjoyed that the past couple of days. And yes, I did lose my first time in fantasy football, of course, to my girlfriend. I was going to try to make it easier for her, like take it easy on her, but her team just blew me out of the water. And yeah, I still did pretty good. I would have beaten 9 other teams in that league if I would have played against them. But of course, I had to play against one of the 2 people that got more points than me, and all my guys didn't score touchdowns. So that's how it goes. If they score touchdowns, I probably lose a little bit more respectfully. But yeah, I got that D for a good reason. So hopefully it's better this week and get back on a winning streak. You just never know. But yeah, and hopefully you enjoyed those shorts as well. There's going to be more coming. I getting accumulated like 3 or 4 days, or at least 3 or 4 games of a certain player, and have their stuff put up eventually. So yeah, the Lakers stuff finally went up. I think it was Duke stuff that went up as well. So yeah, we'll see how much other bit of stuff that comes up in the near future. Like I said, thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.